Provecho.
Welcome, Stacey. Welcome to the
Thank
Why
you
We
so
Move
much.
podcast. I'm honored that you're here. I appreciate, one, all the dances that we have because they're awesome. The fact that you lead me and I lead you and I follow and you follow is just awesome. So I love that. But also for just being such a good human. I think like from the very get-go, this is not because the video cameras are on or we're getting recorded, but like I genuinely mean this, that from the get-go, when I first met you, I felt this like radiating good energy from you. So I'm glad that I followed that gut instinct in my body to actually get to know you because you're an awesome person. And I think you have such an awesome story that I can't wait to share with the audience. So
Thank you so much.
yeah, of course. So once again, thank you for being on the show. It really means a lot to me. And let's go ahead and get started.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So let's go ahead and just do like a quick introduction. Just tell me your name, how long you've been dancing, and where do you currently dance?
Yeah. So my name is Stacey Jarvis. How long I've been dancing? Everyone's off and on. So off and on for like the last 10-ish years. Like my last year of high school is I had a friend from the Dominican Republic and a friend from Honduras. And I never played sports. And I was like, I think I'm good at dancing. I grew up doing like musical theater and choir and all this stuff. So it was kind of opening my mind to, oh, this is something I'm good at and it's really fun and it's a way to like, be social. And I dance mostly here in Portland because I live in Tiger, just outside of Portland. So there's a huge dance scene here. People have no idea. Like when I tell my clients that I go out social dancing, they're like, what? Where? And I'm like, well, this night is this night is that. And there's so many places and it's cool to like watch it grow and to get to be a part of it.
Awesome. So take me back to when you first started dancing. I want to know the ins and outs, the who, what, when, where, why, the initial reactions, the initial emotions. Just tell me the story of how and when you first started dancing.
Okay.
Maybe even if you can recount the first time you went out dancing.
Yeah. There was this little Mexican restaurant in McMinnville that like had a little spot in the back. And I think they were like trying to bring people in. So they're like, oh, we'll have some dance night. So me and my friends were like, we have to go. And I think I remember just always being really nervous and really like always looking down at my feet and tripping up on myself and like, oh, do they think I'm a good dancer? And who's going to ask me? And just like feeling nervous about how I look and just really caught up. I was 18 at the time. I was young. And I mean, we're always taught to care so much about how we appear to other people. But now the longer that I do it, nobody cares more about how you look than you. And it's been so fun to like think back to like that little nervous, stressed out teenager who like didn't know anything about just like being in my body and feeling the music. Because even just in the last year, my dancing has vastly improved because I got out of my head and into my body and just trusting that my musicality and that I have rhythm. And it's not so rigid, like, okay, am I following every step correctly? Like, the point of social dancing is there is no rules. We are a rule-following community and people and culture.
Yeah.
And rules are important. I mean, rhythm is important when it comes to dancing. It's helpful, but it's all about having a good time, being respectful, and just, like, having that good energy. Like, when you said when we met each other, I was so intimidated to dance with you because I would watch you dance, and you were incredible. And I was like, oh, my gosh. But the longer I dance, when I see people like you, I want to dance with you even more because that's where I know I can grow and learn even more. And if I'm just myself, people respond so well if you're just your authentic, true energy. And people can feel when you have good intentions. People can feel it.
Absolutely. That's so nice. Thank you so much for those kind of words. And yeah, honestly, from the get-go, just feeling the excitement, I think is what struck me. It's like, you were always very excited to be there. And I was like, damn, that's so nice. Like, we got to have people like that. You're always smiling. You're always like talking to somebody. And like when you observe too, don't take this as an insult, but like when you observe, you remind me of me when I'm out dancing. Cause I'm just like so I'm just locked in. I have a straight face. I almost like pucker my lip and I'm just focused, And I think I see you from time to time. I'll glance over and you're just, like in it. So it's great. I know you're like concentrated and like trying to absorb all that. So it's really cool. That's beautiful. So that first time you went out dancing, describe like what, like, how you felt at the end of the night, I guess, because it got you coming back for another 10 years or
Yeah.
another however 9 years and 11
I
months.
think there's like almost this high you get off of dancing. And I think it's the energy you put out and the energy that people give to you. And I think the longer I dance, the more it makes me feel excited and free. Like it's different than going for a walk. It's different than going to a place and getting drinks with somebody. It's a whole different experience that it's hard to like, I don't know, it's almost even like hard to describe. I guess what I come back for is the magic moments. So like when I was a kid and I'd watch Disney movies, you would see Cinderella, and as she's dancing with Prince Charming, everyone kind of disappears from the floor.
Mhm.
And sometimes you have these nights where you get these magic dances where you're dancing and you're like, is there anybody else here? Because I'm so genuinely in this moment and enjoying connecting in this energy that the people just kind of disappear and don't matter anymore. And so I think now, so I first started going because I realized I was good at it. So it's like fun and exciting and, started to build my confidence. But then it's become now where I'm just like seeking, like, seeking that kind of high because it's so incredibly fun and it's different than anything else.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know if there's anything else like social dancing.
No, that's beautifully said. Like I so understand that, like that moment, that being present, that I appreciate from you and all our dances, because I see a lot of people out there, unfortunately, who are not connected to their person that they're dancing with, or they're looking around,
Or with
or
themselves.
or themselves. Correct. Yeah, they're just kind of like bobbing around, looking down at their feet, worried about them, how they look, or they're presenting to themselves, or seeing if people are looking at them, and it's like it's so important to be in the present, which I want to hear your opinion on. But go ahead if you have something to
Oh,
say.
I just think something that a friend said to me recently, who's a dancer, he was saying that he's like, Stacey, I used to go out dancing and like hoping there would be good energy for me to get. But he's like, now I show up with the good energy. He's like, I go out dancing and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna have fun no matter what, no matter who's there, no matter what kind of music they're playing, no matter what the energy is, I'm gonna have a good time because I'm going out dancing for me. And when you show up with that kind of energy, you have a great time no matter what. Because before I'd be like, oh, is there going to be people I know there? Is the energy going to be good? Is it going to be fun? And now I'm like, I'm fun. I have the energy. So let's go. And when you put that energy out, you're a magnet. It's just like how it works in the world. When you put out that kind of energy, it's what's coming back at you. Like that's how I find awesome people like you, is because I'm putting that energy there. And when you raise your vibration, people meet it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just connecting with the people that are drawn to me, and they're drawn to me for a reason, and I'm drawn to you for a reason.
That's awesome. That's so cool. That's such a good, like, I think one of the most important things about social dancing that anybody can keep in their head when they go out is like, that's the ultimate key, I think, to enjoying yourself is not about if I'm going to have a good dance. It's like, if I'm going to be good when I go out dancing,
Yeah.
just like good in yourself, good in your energy, good in your vibrations, like you're saying.
And
Very well
dancing
said.
is a way, it's also like a way of like therapy, right? So like when you like learn about like somatic healing, it's moving through the body. So like we always feel like our feelings are just in our mind, but your body and your muscles store your energy, your emotions, your memories, good or bad. And so going out dancing literally is physically healing. They've been doing it since the beginning of time. It's the way we worship, it's the way we connect, it's the way we move through things. Like when you look at different cultures, and unfortunately, the United States, we have lost a lot of traditions, right? So I love that we're tapping into something that's like so primal and so normal, and yet people are like so uncomfortable by it. Like some people
Yeah.
who need a drink to go dancing, and like that's fine. Like if that's where you're at and you're dancing, but I hope that people can get to the point where that you can just be comfortable and connected in yourself, that you could just be able to go out and dance.
Absolutely. Absolutely. On that quick note
Yeah.
of like people who are going out and having a drink to be able to dance, I think I used to be like that. I
Yeah.
had like the nervous energy flowing in and out of my body before I even got to the club or got to the social. And I would need, like, I'm sure people out there know this or probably still do this or have done this, but I would drink like 2 AMFs and I would be like, all right, now I can go dance. And sometimes like it would breed creativity in me, but then sometimes I would just be too sloppy and I would just like take myself out because it's not good. But um, realizing, at least in myself, not saying that I'm putting anybody down for using that.
Yeah.
I think there are better ways. Personally, I think that we all, objectively can say is healthier to go out there and be able to have that form of confidence. You know, not like liquor, but I think it's interesting that you're able to shut that off at some point and be able to just kind of show up with that energy, like you're saying. I think that's
And
like the better
that's
drug.
why we have the community, because there's days where I show up and I'm not in the best mood, and I get to dances and I get to say hi to everybody and greet everybody, give a
Yeah.
little besito on the cheek, right? So like we see each other, I'll totally, I'll have friends ask me or ask them, I'm like, hey, are you doing okay? Like, this is like, social dancing hasn't just become something fun to go do. It's become a community of people for me that like truly care about me. And like we're talking about, like, you're finding the people that connect with you. So like I've showed up to dances where I'm not doing so hot, or I can tell some of my friends are not doing well, and it gives me a chance to like check in, and I'll just be like, hey, how are you? Good. How are you? Good. I'm like, we're both lying to ourselves. So when you like stop and like look at people and you're in the present moment, you can connect with people and be like, and they can say, no, actually I had a really horrible day, or I'm going through something really hard. And we can talk about it, and then we can just shake it off and then move through it, let it move through our bodies.
Yeah.
Because like we live in a culture where people are medicating with drugs and alcohol and sex and food and sugar and social media and we're on dopamine hits. We want things quick and fast. We want to be good at things. We don't want to be beginners. We want to have instant gratification. And when you slow down and you're just looking at what you actually want, you can do anything. And oh my gosh, I have like a bajillion things in my mind. My mind is just like, and it's just when you slow down. I mean, the pandemic kind of taught us that. Like it shut us down, right? We had to be like, okay, what's important? And yet life is back on, and we've already forgot what we learned. Yeah. We're already back to the hustle and bustle and the daily grind. Yeah. So I think that's why I love dancing. It gets me off my phone. It gets me connected with people that I love. It gets me connected with my body. And then that's why I'm hooked. That's why I keep going.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful words. Beautiful. I think I've just already picked out a piece of advice that I'm going to walk away from this conversation with to put myself into dancing as well. Let's move on to why you think social dance is unique, in the sense that like we've talked already about like the joyous parts of it, like the addiction, that feeling, that presence. What makes maybe or give me other things that are more unique, I guess, to social dancing versus other types of dancing?
Well, right now we live in the TikTok generation, right? So we're doing these little like memorized little choreographed little bits. And there's something with social dancing that like you kind of hit on for a moment that I wanted to go back to, was like musicality, right? So everything when you go social dancing is improv, right? We're not showing up. I mean, occasionally there's performances, right, where people are taking classes and learning a dance. But for the majority of the night, they're playing music. You don't know what song's gonna come on. You're gonna be dancing with you don't know who, and you're just gonna dance for a whole song. Like that seems really intimidating. But once you get into it and you learn to be in your body, and I started listening to more of the music. When I started listening to more bachata and salsa, and learning when the little pauses are and when you can do a little embellishment and make it your own, right? Like we're not all dancing to look like robots and look like everybody else. It's an art form. You can be in an art class where everyone's painting the same flower and everyone's picture is going to look so different. Mm-hmm. So I just love picking up, like when I go out dancing, everyone's little style. I'm like, oh, he does this little hip thing, or she does this cute little thing with her hand, or I don't think someone says like, Stacey, you always bite your lip. And I'm like, I know, it's my little confident, like feeling myself. So I think with social dancing, it's just so cool that it's all improv. Like, I don't know, there's a different flow of energy when it's not just, okay, I'm performing, putting on a face, we're doing the moves, and you're just like stressing about getting every move right. Like for me, it takes the stress down of like, I'm just gonna just be in my body and see what happens. And it's usually really beautiful and it's really freaking fun.
Yeah. Awesome. Well said. Well said. I think that's such a cool thing that not only is fun, but also challenging for your brain. You know, it's like, I do believe, and I'm firmly confident in the sense that dancing, be it so complicated as it is, helps your brain just be active and not wither. I think it's so, you're always like trying to figure out like where am I going to be in the next spot. Like as a lead, I'm always thinking about what am I going to do next. As a follow, and when I go into follow mode, I'm always thinking like, oh, what is my lead going to do next? It's always like your brain is working. So it's unlike, social media, or unlike being on a laptop, learning a course or whatever.
And it's
It's constantly
unedited,
learning.
right? So
Yeah.
with social media, you're allowed to put on a filter. You're allowed to cut pieces out. If there's parts of this that are bad, you can just chop them out. That's the whole point of live art, live music, live performance is this is the one shot.
Yeah. It's raw, unedited.
Like
Yeah.
we're talking about surfing earlier, like this is the moment and you got to like just be in it and enjoy it. And it's not going to always look perfect. Like we totally mess up and we just laugh and have fun and it's not so serious.
Yeah.
I think people get nervous like, oh, people are watching. It's like,
So
yeah,
what?
so what?
Yeah.
Who
I've
cares?
always heard that. Now that you said that, I've always heard that saying that goes like, dance like nobody's watching. I think the opposite. Dance like everybody's watching and you don't care, It don't matter. Like you can, yeah.
And I'm always amazed. I grew up not very confident growing up as a girl, being someone who is always struggling with my weight. And like, there's so many beautiful women out there. I'm like, it took a long time for me to like, people always told me I was beautiful, but I never believed them. And even with men, like men really struggle feeling confident, feeling attractive. And, in the dance community, you're like, your body's out there, you're moving. And yet my confidence has grown so much. Like people like, I don't know, I get comments a lot. And like, the more I'm into myself, people see it even more. The more I just like stop caring, the more I'm just having fun. People are so drawn to me, like just by my smile, right? Like,
Yeah.
It's genuine. I'm not like out there faking it, looking like I'm happy. I think on social media, people put out their best side, right? Like
yep.
I show up sometimes and I'm like, I'm tired or I'm struggling, but like at the end of the day, I'm genuinely a pretty happy person. But by sharing that, it like oozes out into other people in the best way possible. Ooze is a disgusting word. It like radiates out to other people. I like that better.
Yeah. That's good.
But yeah, I've always thought like, and sometimes even still like being a bigger bodied dancer, some people create more space when I'm dancing with them, almost like they're uncomfortable that I'm taking up so much space because I'll watch them dance with short, and I'm tall, right? So like when I wear heels, a lot of Latin guys are about this tall. So I feel like I stand out. I'm tall, I'm bigger, but I'm allowed to take up space just like everybody else is. And I dance with people who don't make me feel any different. It doesn't matter if they're taller than me, shorter than me, smaller than me, bigger than me. We just dance like they would dance with anybody. But it's hard being a bigger person and watching them dance different with smaller people. They hold them closer. They're more intimate with them. And so I've just learned I want to dance with people who treat me just the same like anybody else. And I make sure when I dance with other people, whether from their different culture or their, I'm now being a lead and not just a follow, which for people who aren't in the dance community, that's like, we live in a cool place like Portland, like that's totally open, that guys and guys can dance together, girls and girls can dance together. You don't have to just be a follow if you're a girl. Because if you dance in other places, it's not acceptable in some places, or it's not common. So that's one reason I love dancing in Portland, and that I can ask another girl to dance, another girl asks me, and I'm like, yes, it's awesome. Don't get me wrong, I love dancing with you men, but there's something extra special about getting to dance with another woman and getting to be a lead, because it's made me a way better dancer. Paying attention, not just, I'm like, oh, where do I want them to go? Where do I want to go? I'm making sure they're not running into someone else. I want to make them look good, but I want to feel, there's a lot more things to think about that I always thought, oh, being a lead's so hard. I'm like, have you tried being a follow? It's really difficult, because being a follow, I can dance lots of different styles. And if I'm in tune with energy enough that I can just go wherever they're going. Yeah, practice helps you like learn steps and learn moves. But I think being a lead, it's why some guys I think take a long time to go dancing, is because they're like, oh, I have to be such a good lead. But a guy asked me at Norris Hall the other day, he was like, Stacey, what are the top 3 things about being a good lead? And I was like, that's a good question. And I said, number 1, have a good time. That's the number 1 thing, that we're having fun, you're smiling, I can tell you're enjoying your time. Number 2, like I would rather have a guy who has simple steps and is very clear about it than the guy that's all these moves. And I'm like, I don't know where we're going. And then I feel like I look bad because I'm messing up left and right. And the last one, just be cleanly. Be cleanly and respectful. Yeah. Take a shower and be respectful. Treat people how you want to be treated. And those are and I think people are always so caught up in like, oh, do I know all the moves? Am I attractive enough? I'm like, all those things don't matter. Have fun, be clear, be respectful.
I love that. That should be on a shirt right there. Have fun, be clear, be clean.
Yeah. And so it's like, I don't know. The more I'm getting into it, the more fun it is and the more awesome it is. And I love how it all translates into my personal life. Like dancing isn't just dancing anymore. It's my community, it's confidence, it's exercise, it's fun, it's a way to express myself, it's a way to therapy for myself, moving things through my body. Like I'm going through some hard stuff in my life, but I can get off work and go, I'm like looking forward. I have dancing tonight. Like tonight we're going dancing. Like I'm like looking forward to it. I'm excited.
Yeah.
So it's just so fun to like add it into your life and listen to your body. Like there's nights where my body's just not feeling it. I have to respect my body and I have to listen to it. And when your body tells you to slow down, or when you get the urge to go out dancing, don't fight it off. Like there's a reason you need to be there.
Yeah.
And like maybe you're not there for yourself, maybe you're to connect with someone else, but for the most part, show up for you.
Or lots of good advice there. I really liked how you talked about the kind of back and forth between learning to lead has like improved your following.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and dive deeper into that, because I found in this last episode that I made was I had spoken to Kendra, Alicia, and Saba a little bit, and we talked about like one of the goals of a couple of us was like to learn the other role. And I've been following for, I mean, like not really consistently. In fact, I want to follow more. I just like every time I go dancing, I'm like, I lead and it's fun, and then I go and to seek another lead to try to dance, and then I get pulled to lead, and I'm like, damn, like I'm gonna start getting my followers to learn to lead, because I want to start following, and like you, this is why I love dancing with you. And there's a bunch of like good followers out there who do lead as well, but I just think I need to be better about asking.
Yeah.
I just get so caught up. But anyways, back to like what I want to ask you is, what has been the most rewarding thing aside from learning your part or your main, I guess, kind of dance that you like to dance, which is being followed, I'm assuming. Apart from that, what has been the biggest thing that you've learned from leading?
Wow, that's a good question. It requires a different level of confidence. And like, it's so interesting because I'm so used to, right? It's like with following, you're like going along with what they want and you're embellishing it. But then also when you're the lead, you're like, where do I want them to go? But how do you also leave room for them to make it their own? And I think it's the reassurance you give your partner, because sometimes they're like, oh, sorry, I don't think you wanted me to do that. I'm like, there's no rules here, right? So I think it's that, and also learning to have a better frame, because they're basing it off of where I'm going instead of, okay, where are they going and I'm following them. I'm like, am I presenting enough? Am I clear enough that they can go with me? But am I leaving enough space for them that they're their own person, they have their own style, and I want them to be able to like feel comfortable to do that. And it's been so fun because like I'll tell girls, I'm like, I've only been doing this for 2 months, and they're like, oh my gosh, like I would be so scared to lead. And I'm like, they're like, have you been taking classes? I'm like, no, I just started doing it because I got tired of watching girls standing on the side waiting for guys to ask them out. Because oftentimes there's more girls that show up than guys. I don't know if you feel the same way.
I would say, yeah. I think
it's usually a little follow heavy.
Right. Of the nights that are, yeah. I think when I first started dancing, it was a lot of leads and no follows. Actually, yeah. When I first started dancing to Aztecs, I remember like always trying to like grab somebody to dance, because or else you'd be part of the crowd, just like kind of on the wall, just like fiddling your thumbs, waiting for the next song. And then you're like kind of like sprinters pace, ready to.
And also never being afraid to dance by yourself. Like I also enjoy like people who are just like, I love this song, I'm going to dance regardless if someone's going to ask me or not. Yeah. Because I just love dancing and moving my body.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know if I answered your question well enough. But a point of you wanting to follow more, I think it's important to ask, can we switch? Like when we start the dance, can we switch back and forth? Because sometimes when you're a follower or a lead, you're like, I don't think I can do the whole song, right? Mm-hmm. So it gives them the opportunity to be like, hey, when I start not knowing what to do, can we? Yeah. And that's part of listening to each other. Like all of a sudden realizing, oh, I'm in the lead position. Oh, I'm in the follow position. Like you and I are bilingual, right? So sometimes you have to train your brain to be able to go back and forth. And the more you practice it, the easier you can go back and forth.
Yeah.
But at first you're like your brain, like I know sometimes when we switch back and forth, you're all of a sudden like, oh wait, sorry, I have to you have to reconnect to your body differently because when you're following, you're going with their energy. I mean, I feel like I'm a broken record. You're following their energy, but when you're leading, you're setting the tone of the energy for them to be able to follow you.
Yeah, it's very it's interesting to like switch that in your brain. I almost think of it as like a, a weirdly like spiritual thing. I feel like just something happens in my body and my brain and like it connects and I'm just like, whoa. And it's like it's almost like going down a slide that goes back up. You know,
funny
you like
thing
go
is
down
it's
and you
not weird. So our soul is our spirit and our body together.
Yeah.
We are spiritual beings having a physical experience and we forget that.
Beautiful.
We forget that because we're all about what we see and what we feel and what it looks like. But when you slow that down and you say, actually, how am I feeling? What is pulling me? What is guiding me? It's your spirit. It's your spirit inside.
That's true.
And I think sometimes we don't know how to separate like being spiritual, being religious. We're all spiritual. We're not all religious, but we're all spiritual. But it's like, how much will you tap into that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe I say it's weird because it's
or is it new to you? Is it new?
There you go. I like that language.
Like your awareness is changing, right?
Absolutely.
So where you put your awareness and your attention is what you're going to get out of it.
But I think it's beautiful regardless if it is strange or new to me or not. Like it's such a good experience to feel that in my brain and my body to like float, I think, is like the best way I can describe it. I feel like I go from being the buoy to like, or like being the supporting like anchor, I guess more so as a lead, to like being a buoy, being being able float to and like enjoy and almost like release that part of my brain that's like heavy into thinking about what the next kind of thing is going to be. But
yeah. And I think that's why it's important to know how to do both, because then there's points in your life where you have to be the leader of your life, right? You have to go and make things happen. And there's other times where you're like, life's going to happen to me, and you have to be able to be soft enough that you can move with it, right? Because sometimes if you're too firm all the time and you're like, this is what I want, this is what I want, you're not open to other possibilities and opportunities. You don't have to stop going for what you want, but you have to be able to be soft enough in this really harsh, hard, sharp world to be able to, I can be flexible. I can move with this, because you're not in control of what happens in your life. You're in control about, like, you're not only control how you feel or what happens, but then you get the control of what you're going to do about it.
Yeah, it's a choice. Every shift is an opportunity to change.
And in any profession, right? Like, so I'm a massage therapist. If I don't keep receiving and getting body work myself, I forget what it feels like to be the person on the other end. If I'm always taking the therapist role and being someone who creates video and audio, you have to be on the other end of the person who's consuming it. What do you want to hear? What do you want to see? What kind of quality of information do you want to be receiving? That's the kind of quality you want to be putting out. If you're just putting stuff out there to put stuff out there, okay, so what? So you have to always look at both sides. And it helps you be a better person if you can do both. I'm a middle child. I have an older sister and a younger sister. And I love being the middle sibling because I know what it feels like to be the little sister. I know what it feels like to have the one you're looking up to or being picked on. But then the other way around, I know what it feels like to be the big sister, where you feel like the mama bear. I want to protect you. And I feel like I have this really cool perspective that I wouldn't have otherwise. And it translated in lots of parts of my life where I want to see both sides of the story.
That's awesome. Really cool. I think growing up, I always wanted to be an older sibling. I'm the youngest. I'm the baby.
You're the baby?
I'm the baby. I felt like all throughout my life, I've kind of taken on the role of what an older sibling is, like that caretaker role that you kind of mentioned, like Mama Bear, but like Papa Bear, in a way, with a lot of my friends, a lot of, I think into my adulthood life with my family as well. It's interesting because I love the duality there as well. I'm all about, I think I always seek duality in everything that I do, and the importance of it, and finding where one benefits the other and vice versa. And you can take things from one and apply it to the other.
Finding the balance. Yeah,
and that's what I really love about following now in dancing, is like I'm able to see so many different parts that I didn't see before, where I'm like, oh, dang, my back hurts today. Why does my back hurt? Like, oh, of course, because I'm doing all these body rolls and stuff and like dips. And like, damn, I need to learn to
And so then you think, how can I
gentler.
support my partner? Because I know what it feels like to be on the other side.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's a very important thing for everybody to learn both roles, you know? So I'd love to learn. We already spoke on all the good things, the practical things that I think people who are watching maybe can take home or into their next social dance. But as far as positivity or like being kind, being gentle,
Yeah.
doing both roles of leading and following. But what other pieces of advice would you give beginners who are starting dancing or
Yeah.
people who are interested in dancing and want to get
I
in?
want everyone to try it. I think my advice would be if you already have some music background, just jump head in. Like if you already grew up playing music or singing or in the arts or dancing, just jump into it. Because I've met a couple people recently who grew up dancing really different styles and they jump into the Latin dancing community and they just love it and they just thrive and it's awesome. If you're someone who doesn't have a whole lot of music dancing background and you're terrified, there's so many classes. So there's classes before socials, there's dance schools where you can sign up for courses where you're doing like, week to week you're building classes, building your confidence. But I think the biggest thing is like going out there. I mean, it's just like trying anything new. You just have to be okay with not being good at first, but probably you'll be better than you actually think you are. Because I have people who be like, "Oh, I'm new. I'm so horrible. I'm so sorry." And we dance, and then afterwards, I'm like, "That was great. Like, you've only been dancing for a month. Like, what?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "I've been dancing off and on for years." Like, you have to remind yourself that it's okay to be a beginner. Like when I first started learning Spanish, I just would always I would like preface every conversation I had in Spanish with, "I'm so sorry, I'm really bad at Spanish." And when I stopped doing that, and when I just said, "Hey, can we practice? Hey, can I speak with you? Hey, can we dance?" Whatever it is, it improved so quickly, and it became so much more fun. So I would say, yeah, don't worry so much. If you want to take classes, do. If not, jump in. And I think the community here specifically is like wide open arms, and also just be like, take every like feedback, like advice and feedback. You paid nothing, it's free, so like take it for what it's worth. It was free. So if
Mhm.
you don't like the feedback or the advice, take it or leave it. And if
Right.
you like it, then great, it was free, take it. So like, and as us who've been in the dance community longer, we just need to always be like really careful about like what we're saying and like when to say it. Because I think sometimes like people aren't ready for like feedback and advice. And also be open to asking for it after dance. Be like, "Hey, is there anything that I could practice with you or something that I could learn from you? Do you have any feedback for me?" Like when you're ready for that, like just ask for it. And people are so willing to give it to you.
That's great. Yeah.
But
So
like don't like get like too like hurt if someone says something. Like there's so many people out there to dance with. If someone doesn't like your style, that's okay.
yeah. Yeah, I've had plenty of people. I want to say growing up as I refer to that as like getting into the dancing and learning whatnot. That have been like a lot more critical than I think constructive when they were giving me feedback,
Yeah.
and that's I think a big thing in dancing is like um, it's hard to be objective with giving advice like that because dance again is such a it's an art, right? You can't put it in a box. You just let it go. It's like Pandora's box in
Yeah.
a way. But knowing like when what is good advice and what is not is I
Yeah.
think you like tap into those resources, like those dancers who you see out maybe who are they know what they're doing. One, they like you can see clearly that they're dancing, they have a good time. People remark them as great dancers and whatnot. But also like maybe instructors, people who have been vetted. If you want to like take classes, I think that's like probably one of the best things that you can do is like get a basics in,
Yeah.
understand that from the ground up, and then you're able to like really understand what is good and what is not good.
Yeah.
But I think I like what you said about going and just trying and like even if you have a music background, I think you really get a good advantage. If you not even if you like play an instrument or whatever, but if you like bopping to music, that's what I tell people a lot. Is like if you find yourself in the car and you're like on beat to bopping and people don't tell you you're not on beat or you're like off or whatever, or you're dancing and you like feel like you're kind of like in a groove, that kind of tells you that your body already
And
kind of understands
it's
rhythm.
craving it too, right? Like you're
Yeah,
already doing it.
yeah, for sure. So yeah, but I think besides with people who really also don't have a musical background or just want to enjoy that, I think really the best piece of what you said is just like going out and trying. Like you're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna fall,
Oh yeah.
you're going to like upset some people or whatever, but like just keep coming back and having fun for yourself, not for anybody else.
Yeah.
Any other piece of advice that you can give to beginners out there?
Try it if you like it. And see, some people try it and they didn't think they were going to be hooked. And then like, yeah, then there are people like us who are like years later, we're still doing it.
Yeah.
And it's also like, I think it's also okay that like dance can play seasons in your life. Like there's seasons in my life where I didn't dance at all because I wasn't feeling it or I was busy with other things. Like dance can start to take up a lot of your time. And like we choose to let it take our time because that's what we want. But it's okay like for seasons where you're really into it and you're really not. And that's okay. Like it can ebb and flow and it doesn't make it good or bad. Everyone has their journey with every part of their life. And so like if you feel called to it, like try it out and like maybe you do it for a month and it's not your thing, or maybe all of a sudden you're hooked and you're going to be a teacher in 5 years. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to give yourself some time and space away. I think for me, COVID was like that for me. And of course, like it was like that for everybody. But I had this like dying itch to go and try and like dance. And like I hit up friends to go and just like go to the park or something and just practice or whatever. But then I found myself like after COVID, or not after COVID, 'cause I don't even know if you want to call it after COVID. Anyways,
When life normalized.
yeah, when like kind of reintegrated itself back.
Yeah.
I found myself like, oh wow, I want to take a break now. I don't feel that itch anymore.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that like you quit it. It just means that you just need a little break. Like what you said with your body, when your body's telling you probably need a break, your knees hurt, your back hurts.
Yeah.
Like you're worried about
Listen to your body. Listen to your body.
Yeah. So
Well, and I'm someone who's like, I'm into so many things. I love cooking. I love dancing. I love hiking. I love playing music. I love serving people. I love trying new things. I love making art. I like do lots of different things. And it's like totally okay that I'm not going to be the best at any of those things because I'm not sitting down and spending all my time on that. If I wanted to be an amazing dancer, I would have to quit all my other stuff that I love and just really focus on this and just know that you can still love dancing, have it be a part of your life. And it doesn't have to be like, it's just a piece of your life. It doesn't have to like be all consuming unless you want it to be. Then like that's great for you.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
And for a while, it was all consuming. I was going out like 5 nights a week, and I just loved it. But I also like didn't spend as much time with other friends, and I didn't spend as much time cooking and doing other things that I love doing, which is fine. It was like you have to find the balance, like where you sacrifice your time and.
Yeah.
But just like with anything in your life, if you have a pull or even just like an inkling to try it, like what does it hurt? Just try it.
Yeah. What, in your opinion, do you believe is the thing or the key that makes you a good social dancer? If you could boil it down to one thing, what is that?
I think my key to being a good social dancer, oh gosh, one thing. I guess it just has to be having fun. Like out of everything, I'm just having fun. I don't know. Like, it's a lot of, I think the biggest things are like my confidence and being like, I've also, the more I go, it's like the more practice, like just with anything, you have to practice it to get better. But I think why people enjoy dancing with me is they're like, Stacey, like that was just really fun.
Nice.
Which as an adult, how much time do we actually, like out of your week, how much time are you actually having fun?
Oh, we're like serious all the time. We like barely have time to play and have fun. Rarely.
Like your energy is pulled to all the things you have to get done and being serious. And it's like, I think that's what dancing is for me. Is it just freedom, fun? I don't know. It's just kind of crazy to me. Like one of my goals, like we're the same age right now. We're both 28. Like one of my goals as I age is to never become boring because I meet so many adults that I am so bored by and I refuse to be boring.
Yeah.
I meet people who are way older who are anything but boring because they choose to still have fun and be free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Agreed. Yeah. It's all about, I think just being a kid again, resetting back to what we used to do when we're kids. We were flexible and we were able to jump off.
And you were friends
stuff.
with everybody. Think about when you were a kid. Making friends wasn't hard when you were a kid, was it? You say, hey, do you want to go play? And you just go play. That's what dancing. You say, hey, you want to dance? Like we're here for the same stuff. Yeah. And you like can quickly make friends with people. So true. You know what I mean? Whereas like when you're out like in the social world, you don't just like walk with somebody and be like, some people do, right? They're like, hey, should we hang out or can I get you a drink or whatever? But it's like when we're out dancing, we all have the intention of there to dance and groove and have a good time. And so it's just like a really cool way if you're like looking to like build a community and network of people. put yourself out there in whatever hobby it is. If you love canoeing, if you love, I don't know, basketball, like just finding as an adult, we get so caught up in just like, yeah, the daily grind with our stuff. And it's like, hey, as an adult, it's really hard to make friends. So like find something you like physical you love to do and like go do it.
Yeah. I think that's literally like the best advice you can give to anybody for making friends outside of dancing. You know, just like you find a common activity, and you just like, yeah, you just start talking. I mean, hopefully it's not something bad, right? Like, hopefully you're not downing 7 drinks or whatever in the hopes to make a friend. You know, hopefully it's something activity wise, like dancing, climbing, surfing.
Well, and it's so
whatever.
important to your health and longevity. Like my grandfather is 93 years old. He goes to the gym every morning, goes walking every afternoon, and he still drives a car every day.
That's amazing.
And it's because it's like the whole, like, he just have to stay in motion. Like there's some old people who go dancing who like are so young and vibrant with their energy. Like, yeah, your body will get older and it's going to look old, but you're only as old as you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, for me, it's also like a way of like preserving myself. Like I want to like feel good and look good for a long time.
Yeah. Amen.
Like, especially like, I don't know. I was just in like a beauty store recently and there's all these firming and glowing and all these products to put on your skin. And I was like, if you just take care of your body, you hydrate, you eat well, sleep, sleep's good. When they look at health, having connections with people is what like longevity of people who live a long life, having quality, good people, friends, connection. And that's like what dancing does. Moving your body and eating a balanced-ish diet. Like you don't have to be perfect in how you're eating or be hitting the gym 6 days a week and going super hard. Like that doesn't equal like a healthy life, right? It's like this balance of taking care of your spirit, taking care of your body, taking care of your mind. And I think for me, like dance is a piece of like how I take care of myself. Like not only is it fun, but like it's those deeper things that we also need to live a long, healthy life.
Absolutely. Agreed. That's like a goal for sure, is to stay moving. Like I don't want to be like, if I can make it to 100 and still wipe my own ass, I've won life, you know? Like maybe not 100, maybe 90, but
we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. People can really walk away from this conversation really with lots of good advice, lots of good mentality notes to have when they go out social dancing next. And I think really like the essence of just being lively and young and energetic, because that ultimately will give you the best dance possible. You know, starts within you and then you explore it out. So beautiful. Do you have any last comments or anything else you'd like to share before we hop off?
I mean, all that's coming to mind is just like enjoy your body for everything it is. I think we often hide our bodies and we're ashamed of our bodies and we're uncomfortable with our bodies. But the more that I let people see me and the more I like parts of the way I look and I'm more positive in the way I speak to myself and to others, I enjoy it so much more. So enjoy your body. It's the only one you get.
Awesome. Great words to live by. Absolutely agreed. Great. Well, thank you so much, Stacey, for hopping on.
It's been an honor to be here. And like to anybody who's listening, like thank you for your time. Like the only way we can do stuff like this is that people are listening, and we hope to see you on the dance floor.
Amen. Yep. See you on the dance floor. Exactly.
Hey.